Oh, I have to remove the overlay. Welcome to episode 17 of the Brand Spotlight. We are here with Simon and you'll have to help me out with the name.
Montserratt.
Simon and Montserrat of Serrati Coffee. I met them last week at the Coffee Fest show in Los Angeles, so I met members of their team and connected with their team. So we are here for episode 17. The Brand Spotlight is a show where we talk mainly about consumer brands. We interview them about what they're uniquely bringing to the marketplace, and we really dive into their origin story and how they got to where they are, as well as their future goals. We are streamed live on YouTube, LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, and then we are repurposed as an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Without further ado, we will first I usually like to talk about the agency that I've been building up over the last few years. That's the sponsor of the show. I run a marketing agency called Brands Connect, and we focus on crafting boutique and custom marketing plans for specifically custom tailored to brands. Thank you so much. I know we've been announcing this episode for a while, and anybody who's been following on social media, we've been announcing that Simon and Montserrat have agreed to do some giveaways with their exclusive Italian beans, which throughout the episode we'll get to learn a lot about, and we'll select 10 commenters. They were gracious enough to give it to up to 10 people. Even before we started this episode, we already have some comments. I guess people really like it. I'll show it on the screen. We have Elena with some comments, a bunch of emojis. We love those. And we have Gabe Hirsch. Joe on the Joe looks like a great coffee brand. Very cool. So we'll see. We'll go throughout the episode, and throughout the episode, I'm not sure if we'll do it in the middle or at the end. We'll let the Serrati, the power couple behind Serrati Coffee, choose the winners. For anybody listening to the replay, now you know why you have to listen to it live too. But thank you. We appreciate listening to the replay. We didn't even get into the episode. So we'll get right in. I don't know much about it, except that when I went to their booth, their coffee tasted very, very good. And it was exclusive Italian coffee. There was a lot going on there. So we agreed to do a show for the long term. And we'll get into it. I just want to announce some other comments that came in. Lana, she actually works on my team, and she actually did some videos for a year for Serrati and did a lot of the graphics.
Thank
you. We have Aaron. I love coffee, love learning how every brand makes their own concoction. So we'll have to get into that later in the episode. Now this is already a little bit of time. Let's get right into the episode. Episode 17 of the Brand Spotlight. The way I always start every episode is with the signature question. In a sentence or two, how would you define your brand?
We define our brand as bringing an artisanal Italian coffee drinking experience to America.
Artisanal coffee brand experience to America.
An Italian, yes.
Italian.
Yes.
My bad. That was great and concise. Can you unpack that a little bit for us? How would you quickly define an Italian artisanal experience?
An authentic Italian artisanal experience means that we are bringing the original old-fashioned way that Italian roasters roast coffee beans, which is not how major coffee companies do it now. And it's very precise, scientifically based, of course. And we chose a roaster that visually monitors the roasting of each bean to ensure the quality. That's what sets us apart as artisanal.
Yeah, there's no compromise.
There's no compromising in the process. It's all about the process.
If it's all about the process, I know you did mention that each bean is roasted specifically. How do you how is that different than when I go to my local boutique roaster? It also tastes good. How is that different than that process?
So basically, is based on the temperature and time. Usually, big company they have to roast in 3 minutes a very big quantity of coffee. Our company it take between 16 and 20 minutes this to have this process, and then we chill the coffee with air. That make the difference. So instead of use water that can ruin the beans, we use a very cold air, and this is it. This is it.
I want to say something to your question. I honestly have never asked other independent roasters their process, so it would be unfair of me to say, oh, they don't use the same method we use. We only know that our method is really not followed anymore because of how big the coffee market is worldwide. In order to meet consumption demands, you clearly have to shortcut the process. Now, for independent local roasters, for like Santa Monica, Southern California, there are so many. I really don't know. Maybe they don't know how to do this. Maybe they do it the way it's done now. But we know that our beans are roasted perfectly to avoid acidity, to ensure that the beans are not raw inside, and perfectly roasted on the outside so they're not burnt or scorched. And that's what most coffee beans look like, the way they're processed now in modern times.
So, just to recap a little bit, you take a longer time to roast. Some of the more commercialized will take 3 minutes. You'll take about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And some of the more commercial places will chill it with water. You make sure to chill it with air.
Yeah.
What's the reason for that?
Several reasons. First of all, we don't sell wet beans. So when you buy our coffee, you buy the right quantity. So we don't have.
Oh, I think
issue.
he's trying to explain that when you and I won't mention names, but a huge Italian manufacturer that is very popular worldwide, they cheat the weight system by using water to cool down the beans. It adds weight, but you get less beans actually. So, and it destroys the coffee. You can't use those beans in higher end machines, for example. And the machine companies will tell you specifically what to avoid because it'll ruin the machine. Our beans, they're high end and you can use them. And what are those coffee machine companies? Like the one, Simonelli?
Simonelli or whatever. The point is to have the oil, you have to preserve the oil that is in the coffee. So because the coffee outside, if you touch the bean, it's a little bit oiled, and if you chill the beans with water, you lose that part. That creates the real taste of the coffee. It's part of that.
And when you chill it with air, it ensures it's like resting a piece of steak. You want to make sure that it cools down, but that it maintains, if it's rare, medium rare, whatever. That's the other reason to chill it with cold air.
So the air essentially ensures the flavor profile.
Yes, and the quality. Yeah.
And the quality for a more gourmet experience.
Yes.
Wow, that was a really good overview of really your roasting process.
Well, we went because we live in Italy part of the year. And when we started this project, we were in Italy and we were going to different independent roasting houses and watching their process and, deciding on the right partner whose their own motto is no compromise. This is how our family's done it for generations. This is how you maintain the quality, and we're not veering from that.
Cool. Wow. So far you really explained the roasting process, what makes your roasting different. I do want to get out to what you currently either have on the market or will have on the market. Before that, I do want to take some time. We did get, looks like this giveaway is getting commenters. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Serrati Coffee has about 10, we have up to 10 bags we can give out, shipping to throughout the United States. Anybody in the United States or Europe or Italy, they can ship you a coffee. They can ship you the coffee beans.
Or Canada.
Or where?
China and Canada.
China and Canada, and we will select 10 of the commenters. I'm just going to read some of the comments. Raquel, can't wait to have the awesome Serrati coffee. I could use some right now. Devora, that's actually my sister, coffee lover. Rodney, Rodney's someone I know from LinkedIn. He's a big influencer marketing guy. Rodney Powell. Looking forward to hearing about this brand. I am from a country where it's from farm to mouth. My grandma used to prepare coffee from our farm, and I just can't find that taste anywhere. Love originality.
So, what we have on the market right now.
One more comment. Aaron, they're spilling the tea about the coffee cheating. And Elena, who actually commented before, she's becoming our top commenter. Very informative. Yeah, so let's get to what you have on the market now.
Right now, we imported 4 different blends because this is America. This is the American market. And we wanted to have a broad spectrum of possible taste profiles, from the lightest to the most intense, of course. And what we discovered so far selling coffee is that our nitro cold brew with our bar blend is the best seller, and it makes for the best nitro cold brew. We did brew with the 4 different blends, and that's what we discovered, and that's what our little marketing test group also confirmed. And in the market, that's really what has been confirmed. And then we have another blend that we sell, which isn't actually espresso, but it is espresso, but it is a deeper, but it's not overbearing. It's 30% Robusta and 70% Arabica. Yeah. So it has a really great taste. And Americanos made with that blend are strong, but smooth and not acidic. So we've decided to focus on those 2 blends for the moment and, introduce it into the market.
Okay, so let me just go a little bit back. We have people in our audience, including myself, that have limited knowledge of coffee, very, very limited. It sounds like there's 2 basic categories of beans, Robusta and Arabica. That's what I've heard so far. What is the difference between those?
So basically, it's not about the quality. There is this idea that Arabica is better than Robusta, but that's not true. 2 completely different kind of beans. So the Robusta give you the kick and give you the strong taste, versus the Arabica that is the smoothest part. It's very smooth. And combine it, they give you our taste. So in choosing different blend, you have different taste in a way of the taste of stronger.
Right, and some of our beans actually they're from India. They're from different countries that are known to have stronger or deeper Robusta beans.
Yeah, like Guatemala, India, and these are the main countries. Of course, for the Arabica is Brazil the main.
Cool. So those what are those 2 categories? They're different types of coffee beans. They come from different regions.
Yes. So Robusta beans are small.
Yeah.
They're really small. And you can see them in our bags of coffee. The larger beans are the Arabica and the smaller beans are the Robusta. So the Robusta it actually creates the crema. So for listeners who know espresso, when you pour an espresso, there's a light creamy cap that covers the dark coffee. And so that's what you're really looking for. And that cap, the crema, it comes from the Robusta bean. If you don't have Robusta, you just get, regular American coffee that you get in a restaurant or what have you, the American coffee that we normally drink. But if you drink our coffee, even if you make it in a French press at home, you still get the cap. You can see it. And Simon has examples of the beans right now.
Sorry, I don't know if you can see in the camera.
We could try. Oh wow!
Yeah.
There we go.
Two different beans.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This is the Arabica versus the Robusta. Two different size, but doesn't mean that it's better. One is better than the other one. Just two different tastes, and then combined together, they give you the right flavor.
So we have some audio listeners. So I'm just going to explain it. Simon is holding the two beans, each one between two of his fingers. And you see it's probably about a finger. Each one is, I don't have the best time with measurements. But, both of them are less than an inch. Maybe the bigger.
100%,
yeah. But one of them is double the size.
Yeah.
You'll have to Google those images for the audio listeners.
This small one is the very strong.
And that's the Robusta.
That's the Robusta, yeah.
Got you. And that's what you said allows the cap. You described it as the cream, the cap. What does that? The cap. What does that do for? What does that do for an espresso?
Yeah, basically, the cream. We call crema. When you make an espresso, at the end of espresso, you will have a naturally small foam, but it's just coffee. It's not something else or creamy. And this is why, because we have to make the crema, we use this. So, the combination of the...
How does it change the flavor?
Change the flavor because the crema, it's like the beer, the same process. It keeps the taste. So the taste and the smell, the good taste of coffee don't flow away immediately because that happens sometimes.
So the cream actually keeps the taste inside?
Yeah. That happened, 100%. If you go in Naples, in Naples, there is a very long tradition of this thing, and you cannot give to a customer coffee without crema. You throw away. So, and this is where Italians start this thing. In Turin and Naples. Turin and Naples are the two capitals of coffee in Italy.
Wow. Is that where your farms are?
Turin
farms?
No, the farms is... No.
They're all over the world. No, but our manufacturer is in Torino.
Is in Torino.
Okay, we'll get into that in the manufacturing. I do see we have a top commenter here. Raquel, sounds like a good balance of taste. And then another comment, hearing about the process and now understanding more of the beans. Serrati coffee already stands out in the coffee world. So yeah, we're generating lots and lots of fans here. So that's exciting. Anybody who just tuned in, we'll be giving away up to 10 bags of coffee and we will select from the commenters. I'll get back into the content of the interview. It was really fascinating to understand about the cream, how there's two types of coffee beans, the Arabica and the Robusta bean. And in order for the espressos that we really buy anywhere, for it to have that foam, which protects the quality, which protects the taste, we need to use the Robusta bean. And what you've done is you've actually created a blend with both.
Yes.
Both, yeah.
How many blends do you currently have?
4. We have 4.
4
And
blends.
yeah, 4 blends.
What are those? What are the difference between each blend?
The percentages of Robusta versus Arabica. So Simon can tell you all the percentages.
Yeah, we have 4 blends, and this, more Robusta you have, more the taste is stronger. So this is why in America, especially here in California, you like strong coffee. So this is why we are importing all of these blends, so we can have a
What
better
are the
idea.
percentages of each one? In
Each one is, we have 90% in one blend. This is called Venice. We have 90% of Arabica versus 10% of Robusta. Then we have the Florence, that is 70% of Arabica and 30% Robusta. That is our main coffee to make espresso. And then we have Rome and Milan. Rome, it's been 50 and 50. And then we have Milan, that is very strong because it's 30% of Arabica versus 70% of Robusta. That is very strong.
So that was nice and very scientific in terms of the percentages. Now I want to know what the use is. When I go to the coffee shop, which one am I looking for? And if I'm not looking for that one, what are those? Who are your customers for each one? There's a reason why you have 4 different blends, and I'm curious to know what the 4 different blends cater to.
So basically, we understood, because we tried a lot, we make a lot of experiments. So the nitrogen cold brew coffee is made with 90% of Arabica and 10% Robusta to keep the smooth taste. And when you ask for an espresso, basically we offer the 30% of Robusta and 70% Arabica, that is called Florence blend, and then we have the Milan blend, that is very bold. It is 70% of Robusta versus 30% Arabica. That is for the regular Americano coffee, when with the dripping machine, with the coffee machine that you have at home. Basically, that is the best for.
But the reason that these tastes cater to people, first of all, with our cold brewer, we had to try. We brewed each one, and we found that one blend made the smoothest, best tasting cold brew, which I think you tried at the expo.
Yeah.
If we use the others, the actual brewing process already changes the taste.
Yeah.
So it's not like making a regular cup of coffee. The tones and the tastes are different because of the process.
Yeah.
And I have found that people appreciate that profile in cold coffee versus wanting a bolder, stronger taste in hot coffee. I've noticed this with professionals that really want a kick, and they think they're getting more of a kick because of the stronger, more bold flavor. And that's what I found their palate to be more geared towards. However, the caffeine quantity is the same. It's the same. So just because you're drinking a stronger, bolder blend doesn't mean you're getting more caffeine.
Wow. Well, I love this interview. It's fascinating how you've really become passionate and obsessive over the coffee beans, over the roasting method, but that wasn't enough. You had to, the second you went to brew it, you noticed that every brewing method changed the profile, changed the flavor profile, and that changed the blend that you would use.
Exactly.
Now I'm starting to get a more complete picture. Wow, the comments are just coming in. I'll stop again. Aaron, I'm looking forward to trying Serrano. I think as our world is constantly looking for fast, quick methods for everything, it's nice to hear about something that is going back to its roots, taking the time for better taste. Rachel, a relative of mine actually, sounds so good. And Michaela, the most dedicated team I know, Simon and Montserrat.
We are. That's exactly our motto: providing an Italian artisanal coffee experience. That is what we're going for.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the reason why I read those comments out loud, just a reminder, anybody who's just recently joined us, Simon and
Serrat.
Simon and Montserrat, I'll finally get it by the end of the interview, has graciously agreed to give up to 10 bags of coffee to 10 commenters. That's one bag each, to up to 10 commenters. So that's why we're trying to drive engagement for this show. So far, we've learned so much about the process, so much about your specific process, so much about the brewing methods, and the 4 blends and how they're brewed. So far, each blend caters to a different brewing method. So I know you already mentioned this before, but if we could just get a quick recap of each blend and what's the preferred brewing method for that blend.
Okay, so we can start with the smoothest. That is the Venice blend, is 90% Arabica versus 10% Robusta, and this is the one we use to the cold brew method. And then we have the Florence that is we use for espresso, that is 70% Arabica and 30% Robusta. And then we have Rome 50-50 that you can have.
So the one you just mentioned, that was the Florence.
The Florence is our espresso.
So that you use for espresso, okay.
For espresso, yeah, Florence. Then Rome 50-50, and then we have the very bold that is called Milan.
What do you use the Rome for?
For people that they want a good coffee, not too strong, and they use a dripping machine.
Drip.
So yeah, and then we have the Milan blend that we also use for the dripping machine, but it has a very bold taste, and so they love it with the 30% Arabica and 70% Robusta.
Our espresso blend, obviously, you can make in a French press and still get the crema, but of course, they're actually ESE pods, which Americans don't use yet, but we want to introduce that method. They're ecologically friendly. They're paper pods. They're not like I can't say the name, but the ones where they have the plastic pods you stick in and it makes a coffee. Ours are put in paper. They're round paper pods, and you use a regular machine for that, not expensive. And so you make your own shot of espresso and you get the nice crema. And then our bar blend, which we use for the nitro cold brew, we make in a French press. We find it tastes best in a French press.
Yeah, we love it.
We love it in a French press.
Yeah. Also, the ESE pods, they are preserved with nitrogen inside, so to preserve the taste against the oxidation.
So how do I use the ESE pods?
Yeah, we have to provide a coffee machine that is not very popular in America because it's more European, and this is why we had difficulty in the beginning to find it. So we have a supplier in New York for that. It's a very small machine that it works with like press. Yeah, like a press, and then create the correct pressure, because it has to be very high in pressure to extract the coffee in 9 seconds.
Wow. And the nitrogen also keeps the flavor?
No, the nitrogen preserves the coffee because it's already grinded. So it preserves the coffee from oxidation.
Wow, that was a real education on coffee.
That's what you wanted, right?
Oh, that's definitely what I wanted. But what fascinates me is, until now, whenever I went to a boutique coffee roaster, I found blends from different regions. That's what people usually called it. It sounds like even from each region, they have different types.
Yeah.
The comments are still coming in. Sylvina, I passed by the coffee shop and I fell in love with the aroma of the hazelnut roast coffee. The flavor is delicious. Kurt, I guess it makes sense that the quantity of caffeine would not depend on the roast unless the roast somehow destroyed the caffeine, and it sounds like it doesn't. That's really helpful to know. Aaron, again, thanks for being transparent about being eco-friendly. So the reason why I'm reading all these comments is because we're doing a campaign that we will, that Serratti is going to be picking 10 of the commenters, and we'll be sending each of them a bag of coffee. Now I want to talk still about the coffee, but now I know I was able to when I went to the Coffee Fest in Los Angeles, I saw you had a beautiful coffee cart and you are serving cold brew out of a really cool coffee cart. What do you currently have on the market available for purchase, and where can I buy it?
Purchase of the coffee.
Yeah, coffee or coffee beans, or what do you have anything on the market yet for purchase?
Honestly, we started from conception to execution only 14 months ago. So logistically, we are coming up with our online ordering, all of those things. So right now we just sell coffee on our mobile coffee carts. However, people email us or order the coffee individually and we send it out. But our goal is to be able to have our online store up and running very, very soon.
Wow. So we're really early on this. We're your launch partner.
Yeah. And we are the only licensed.
We're the only fully licensed mobile coffee cart business in Los Angeles County to have a health license to sell hot and cold. And it took a long time.
We are the first.
We're the first.
I want to learn more about that process. But it sounds like it's only available via your coffee carts. How many coffee carts do you currently have? I know you have plans of rapid expansion. I did see that. But how many current coffee carts do you have on the market?
4.
So you have 4, and are they in the same locations or they're in different locations?
3 of them are in different locations because the premise of the business is to get away from brick and mortar, follow foot traffic. On our the carts are run, movable through an electric bike. We have another one every Saturday and Sunday at the Silver Lake Flea Market.
So it sounds like you're flexible to go to different spaces at this point, and you follow the foot traffic to introduce them to the coffee.
We do events.
But you do have some places that you go consistently.
Yes.
That's very, very local, and it does sound like you are building up a website to start for people to order the beans from your website.
Absolutely, because we are getting repeat customers that come early in the morning to the market because they only want to drink our coffee. And we've converted non-coffee drinking people. It's hilarious,
That's true.
This one woman, she came in the morning and she tried it. And then in the afternoon, she came again and she looked at me sheepishly, almost embarrassed to buy a second cup. We thought it was the most hilarious thing, but that's how good our coffee is. That in itself shows the taste.
That's amazing. And do you sell the coffee beans on the cart, coffee bean packages on the cart yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's cool. So you're really building a holistic coffee culture.
Yes. And it's really interesting when people say, well, where can we find you? And we say right here or, on the street. We're all over.
And people, so far it sounds like you've been really grassroots and people have been emailing you if they wanted one and you've been fulfilling orders that way. Very old school almost.
Yes, guerrilla marketing.
Guerrilla marketing and almost like the old school, the catalogs back from the day. You get the mail. So this is a little more advanced than that. You get to email.
Yeah.
Wow. That's such a great story. Now I want to. Do you want to wait? Do you want to start some giveaways now, or do you want to wait till the end of the show?
Whatever you prefer.
Let's do a few now. Are you able to see the comments on the side?
No, not yet.
We don't see the comment.
You see where it says comment?
Oh,
Comments?
the comments. Click on the comment.
What is comment? Here we go. Okay.
There's quite a few comments there.
Kurt Klein, for sure. I liked what he wrote. No.
Let's do that. So I don't know how many you want to do now. We'll do some now and then some at the end of the show.
Okay.
So it looks like Kurt Klein. We read his comment before, and they like you. So it looks like you'll be getting a package. We'll contact you after the show, or you could contact us.
Aaron Rodriguez.
Oh, he's been doing a few comments. Okay, so Aaron also.
And I would, Rodney Powell.
All right, let's do that. It's up to you. So we just picked 3.
And then one more. Lana. I'm sorry, I'm blind. That's why I'm going like
Lana
this.
Really?
Yeah, Lana.
Yeah, Lana actually tried your coffee at the show. She works on my team, and she did a lot of the graphics and a lot of the videoing and footage.
Well, there you go. You can have some for home.
All right, so we just gave away 4. That's so exciting. Oh, Aaron is happy. He just wrote, "Oh my gosh, thank you." Yeah.
Our pleasure.
So I think we did 4 of them. We'll have 6 more to give out throughout the show or at the end of the show. Those people won for commenting on the live stream. So if you comment, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, all the comments come to this platform and we're able to see it. Thank you so much. It really helps our show grow. That's really exciting. Now I want to get back into the show. We know so much about your coffee. We know they're in 4 locations now. We know we can email you. What's the best email to order at this point? We'll have some people who want to order it now.
It is info@serratticoffee.com.
Very simple. Serratti is spelled Serratti. Serratti Coffee. So info@serratticoffee.com. At this point, you could do that. Hopefully, the website will be launched soon. Are all 4
is launched? The website itself is launched. It's the online store.
Oh, I could but can I order the beans off the website?
Yeah.
Just emailing.
Just emailing, like you said.
Yeah.
Got you.
For now.
And are all 4 blends available for purchase?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's so exciting. Now I want to get into the origin story of your business. I know you said you told me before the live, you're a couple. So there's that's really exciting. Congratulations. And yeah, so I just want to know about your origin story, about why you decided to create coffee. It's a crowded market and a lot of work.
Do you want to tell it, or do you want me to tell it?
Start.
I guess I'm the verbose one.
Yeah.
Our origin story, it began with COVID.
Yeah.
We met right before the shutdown. We stayed in touch. The borders were closed. Finally, there was a caveat within the European Union to allow couples to reunite. So I got in that way. We got married in December of 2020. Of course, no one from America could come to my wedding, which is fine. But then we flew back to America because I do have my own business here I needed to come back to. And because of jet lag, we would get up early and walk around, do our power walk in Santa Monica Beach. And we noticed where can we get coffee? And we also saw, though, that gyms were now outside because of COVID. Everything moved outside. And as we know, hawking your wares out in the street is probably tied with the first original business in the world. And we all know what that is. And so we thought, okay, there's all these other street vendors. why don't we start selling coffee? Maybe. I mean, that was one thing that we said. And unbeknownst to me, he was doing research on coffee worldwide in America, and he presented it to me. And I'm looking at the numbers, and I thought, there's no way.
It's insane.
Really? It is insane, because worldwide consumption is approximately 220 billion.
Yeah.
And in America alone, it's $84 billion. And we do recognize that the space is very, very crowded. However, we're of the belief that there's room for everybody. We're not trying to be the one, I mean, there's certain brands now, soft drink brands, adding coffee to their product. There's so many independent roasting houses, and that's fine. We all have something different to offer. The point is, try our coffee. If you see us, try it. And I know you'll be converted. I have no doubt about that. And so we took that old business model, selling in the streets. That's the best way to get it out, instead of waiting for someone to stumble upon a brick and mortar. And also, brick and mortar is crazy expensive. The overhead alone on a coffee shop could be $30,000 a month. We don't want that, and we don't want that for our investors. We want a tenable business structure that can work.
Wow. So it sounds like you right away knew you wanted to do a coffee. Sorry. It sounds like the origin story happens to be that you were just walking around in the morning in Santa Monica. You wanted coffee, and you didn't see coffee in the street.
True.
Exactly.
That's happened.
The coffee, they weren't cafes open?
No,
not at 6 in the morning. Not at
no.
7.
I mean, Starbucks on the pier was closed.
Everything was closed until 9:30.
Yeah, it was really difficult. And I'm thinking, where can you get a cup of coffee? You work out in the morning on the grass, and then you go, there's no coffee to buy. Where are you going to go? So that's where, that's the genesis of the thought process and how we move forward.
Wow. So so right away you decided to come up with the coffee cart. You did not want, you knew that the rent would be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
What about the challenge of seating?
Seating?
Yeah, when I go to coffee shop, I want to sit down.
Well, then bring a chair.
Yeah.
I mean, or
People
take
walk.
it and go find someplace you want to sit. Most people
Just walk.
they like walking around with their coffee.
Yeah.
When you're walking around on the beach or whatever, you see so many people already walking with their coffee, socializing with a friend, find, people on a bench drinking their other branded coffees. If you want to be inside somewhere, using Wi-Fi, drinking your coffee, having a meeting with somebody, then our cart is not for you. But it works for a lot of people. And that goes back to what I said. The market is so big. There's something for every vendor of coffee. And that's okay if we don't satisfy everybody's way of drinking coffee.
Wow, that was very cool that you drove right into that opportunity with those challenges. Now, what I want to ask you is, it's one thing to want to serve coffee in the morning in a convenient way and to have a low price, not to have the overhead of rent. I'm sure there's vendor fees, etc. But my question is that it doesn't sound like you're just a convenience buy for coffee. We spent the first half hour of the show really getting into the coffee. Why were you sure that you wanted to? Why did you want to combine a quality coffee with that experience? Why did you not just go, oh, I'm looking for a coffee, let me just open a lower priced, not as quality coffee in a cart?
I'll tell you why. I'm American, born and raised, used to drinking coffee that's terrible. It always tastes acidic to me, bitter, and I douse my coffee in half and half to mask the flavor. right? Because it's one thing, you want the flavor, but you also want the caffeine rush, right? So I was having trouble losing weight. And this was in 2018. I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to give up coffee. And I did. And immediately, I'm not kidding, I lost 20 pounds. It's all the half and half I was using. So I stopped drinking coffee completely. My husband, of course, being Italian, Italians drink their coffee differently. They don't use milk or any other products. Their coffee is just great tasting. And they'll just drink their coffee, maybe add a little sugar, and that's it. No one, unless you get a cappuccino, is adding any milk product to the coffee. And so when he came up with this idea and presented it to me, and we had to go back to Italy because of his business, I decided, well, if we're going to be selling coffee, I need to test the supply. I need to taste the supply. Okay. So I resumed drinking coffee, and now I'm back to drinking coffee because honestly, the coffee we sell is so good. I love drinking it. And it's deceptive in the strength of caffeine, as we discussed a half hour ago. So I only need 2 cups during the day, and I'm wired. I'm good. I don't need any more at all. And so because of my bad experience with coffee in America, generally, I realized if we can sell a quality coffee to people, they'll appreciate it. Because most people you speak with know what I'm talking about. The poor tasting quality of coffee sold in America.
Wow, that was a great. All those pieces are really. I feel like I'm putting a puzzle together to really see your entire story of building your coffee brand. You really solved many pain points. Before we get into those pain points, it looks like the comments just coming in. A lot of people are thankful. Whoever won, Lana, she's excited. Kurt is also happy that he's going to be winning.
Okay.
He's also thankful for sharing your knowledge. Rodney's excited. He was one of the winners. Kurt actually quoted a line from you. We must take the coffee to the people. Haha, great idea. We have a new commenter, and thank you so much. Anybody who newly comments, it's the reason why we're sharing these comments is because we Simon and Montserratt are gracious to give 10 people a bag of coffee selected from our commenters. Jennifer Adams Climb, that's really cool. I appreciate you thinking responsibly about your business. Kurt has another comment. I think permits sound like the hardest part.
Yeah, he's right.
We'll definitely get into that. Aaron, that's great. We've definitely veered into quantity over quality with American coffee. I could attest to that. And then Jennifer Adams Klein has another comment. Yeah, good coffee doesn't need the added calories of cream and sugar. I love when I have a cup that stands on its own.
Yeah, this definitely does that. Yeah. And back to another ecological concern of ours was, how do you get the bike around? And how do you power it? We have solar panels and we have an electric bike. That's how we do it.
So I'm not keeping track of all the winners. I think we gave out four bags, so we have 6 more, I believe. We'll have to keep track of those. It's a good thing we have the replay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't write anything down.
No worries. I don't want it. I want the conversation to flow.
Okay, great.
So we could always see it on the replay. With that said, so I was mentioning that you solved a tremendous amount of pain points, both the eco-friendly, both the fact that you are looking for coffee in the morning, the fact that you stopped drinking coffee because of the half and half, and once you started this, you're able to drink coffee again,
and it
really solved a lot of those problems. And that really propelled you to create this. And it sounds like right away you knew you wanted to create an outdoor coffee experience. How did it go from knowing you want to create that to actually creating the bike? Because that's a big deal to create a bike. And did you start with creating the bike, or did you first look at the permitting and bureaucracy, or did you do that together?
Everything came together,
Everything came together at the same time.
Yeah, all the problem together. The original plan, the original plan was to use the Italian. It is a motorbike with 3 wheels called Ape. It's typically from Italy. So, but then we moved to the bike because it's ecological, and then we found the way to produce here. And after that thing, say, okay, now we have to deal with the health department, that they helped us a lot.
Well, hold on a second. We had to find a bike.
Oh yeah.
We had to find the vendor, and then our graphic designer is amazing. We told her we want a vintage, a retro Italian look, modernized. She came up with the name. She combined our names, and it sounds Italian, but I'm telling you, it's not an Italian word. It's just our names combined, but it sounds like it could be. And so that's great. And the color scheme, everything to do, to create the bike and to create the feel for Serratti. So that was really one of the simultaneous things we were doing to investigating health permits, what cities require different permits than LA County, the legal aspect, because we are a business, we do have investors, there is an entire structure of making money, so we had to deal with the attorneys. We were literally doing everything simultaneously. Was very difficult. And dealing with COVID affecting shipping, as you know.
We have freights in the beginning. We did have freight, and now fortunately we can have the container, but
and the health department, it's very interesting. We applied back in September of 2021. Of course, as we know, COVID has affected the ability of government offices to handle and process regular amounts of, requests for permitting and blah, blah, blah. And after 4 months, we were finally contacted. We kept calling, no response. And then we said, you know what? Let's call our county supervisor representative. And I'm not kidding. The morning we called, that afternoon, we had a health department inspector assigned. By the time this entire process was completed, we had four inspectors, because they'd never seen anything like this before. This is totally original and new. Not the concept of street vending, but the way we wanted to do it, and to provide hot coffee as well as nitro cold brew. So it got to the point where they were like, you're not going away. No. We keep telling you no, and you're not going away. And I said, well, you don't even know how I got into Italy to get married during COVID.
That's true.
I don't give up at all. I don't give up. And so we're not giving up with you. And that's what happened. And we finally got the first permit.
When was that?
We got it in May of 2022.
May and June the inspection.
Oh yeah.
In June
there was the inspection. So they signed off on our blueprints in May, and then the physical inspection was in June.
27th.
The 27th.
of 2022.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're really just hit the market.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. I do know you alluded to a lot of the brand identity. You said you had a creative designer design the bike and the coloring.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know more about that process. I'm going to actually screen share your website so people can see. Share screen, 1 second. So people can see. Where is it? Chrome tab. Serrati. So people can see the cart. Oh.
Yeah.
I have to go up, scroll up. Where is the cart?
Right there.
There is a page called mobile cart.
Oh, there it is. I see it changes. Mobile
Yeah.
carts. Here it is.
Here we are.
That's our baby.
Yeah.
So do you want to take us through a little bit of the design for the cart?
Well, honestly, we're not the designer. It was her ability to, her excellent ability to translate our verbal concept into reality.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of meeting, a lot of color choices, a lot of, you know, she wrote the Genesis story for us, you know, how we met, how we got married, how we both love each other and coffee. This is really Simon's love letter to me. His love of coffee and his love for me, and fighting hard for both of them, honestly. And so she took all of that and came up with this mock-up. And it called to us immediately. Yeah. Like, this is it. This is exactly what we're looking for.
We say, yeah, this is it.
You know, the vintage, modernizing the vintage Italian look. And these colors you will find in old magazines of Vespas, of what, you know, awnings look like in Italy back in the 60s. So she hit it. She hit a home run.
It was just one iteration, or did you have, I would imagine there were multiple iterations.
No, she nailed it the first time. We just had to decide on shades of red and green. Quite honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like we'll have to get her on the show at some point.
She's very talented. Very talented.
That's amazing. But my question is, what was your, I'll still press a little bit more, what was your part that you want to share with the audience? I'm sure there were certain things you really wanted to express with this cart. What were a few of those things you wanted to express and you articulated to your designer?
What did we want to express with this cart?
It's just, you know, there's in Italy we say the miracle, the Italian miracle. By that, in 60s, we call that that period Italian miracle, because we had no money in Italy, and after the Second World War, everything was restarting, and that represent for me this little bit more than that. It was represent for me what Italian really can do, and it is a little bit. I'm tied to this thing because my grandpa used to sell something on the street too, with a small motorcycle. It's something that it's personal for me. It's something like to say thank you to my family and of course my country, and it's easy to see that is ecological. It's the past and the future. So that's it.
And the gadgets are cool. We have a nitro tap on a cart.
That's
Where
funny.
have you seen that?
That's funny.
Yeah, it's great.
When we came up with this idea, everyone say, why? Say, why not? We say, why not?
That's our motto. Why not?
Why not?
Wow, it's really beautiful. We even got a comment just from the card. I'm just going to remind our audience that we are collecting comments in that Simon and Montserratt. Did I get it?
You got it.
You got it.
They have agreed to give out to 10 commenters a bag of coffee. We already picked a couple. But Kurt just says, wow, I think people would stop for the cart alone. It does look like a very classic color palette too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So much of I'm so happy you shared the cart. Now I want to get into the permitting. How was that process?
Infinite.
Epic. I'll let Simon tell you, because he dealt with it every day.
Oh yeah, it was every time we had something else some changes, because it's not because the health department inspector didn't want to help, but because they didn't know about about our goal. So the last thing was, after the blueprint is modified, I think no less than 25, 30 times.
We went back about 20 times to the draftsman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end, they say, okay, guys, we agree with you, but you need to provide a different kind of coffee machine, because we want an all dispensed coffee machine, because we want this. Okay, we found the coffee machine. But then they say, no, you cannot use this coffee machine, even though there are all the certification we need and blah, 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 but because of the weight. And so then I think in a couple of minutes, I found another coffee machine that it fit in their requirement for the weight, for everything. So, and they say, okay, guys, we're done.
But think about it.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I told you by the end of the process, we had 4 inspectors. No one knew exactly how to deal with it. With us. They didn't know, because this kind of cart isn't out there. It's not your typical cart. And so by the end of it, we had 4 county representatives working in conjunction with one another to make this happen. And, one person knew something, then we'd come up with a solution, and they'd say, let me get with this other person.
Yeah.
Bring that person in. Now we're having Zoom or Meetup. We're having meetings over video now with 2 reps. And then, okay, this all looks good. Come back. Wait, you know what? No, we need to investigate this. Let's bring on the expert in that area. Okay, now we're having meetings with the 3 of you. And then by the end of it, we met a 4th person. And it was crazy. But good. Yeah, so that's how involved it really was. Besides the details, besides I'd wake up in the middle of the night and Simon would be researching everything to finally find the exact equipment, the exact certifications that the county would accept and that would work for our business model.
Can you imagine all the bar and the restaurant? We have the same specification of bar and restaurant, but we have this space, in a bike. So we have to find everything small, everything is but certified, because we need NSF and ETL certification. Everything is certified. So at the end of the day, they say, okay, guys, good job. Get
out of here. We don't want to see you again.
But yeah.
What are you? How did you take the design from the graphics designer and hire someone to build the cart? You built it yourself. You hired someone to build it. How was that process?
Yeah, there is a company that do this thing for us.
Yeah,
and not only for us, for sure. And but the graphic designer, they work, and the producer of the bike, they work together for the wrapping, because it is vinyl, like the cars now. You can wrap a car. It is the same thing, the same process. The very difficult part was the color palette, because I'm very picky in that way. I wanted this color, and specifically for the red, I don't know, we had a palette of color of 20 kind of red, maybe 40. I want this. Okay.
And they did it. And then the awning, had to be the right red, and the typeface on it.
Yeah.
So the bike company and our graphic artists worked in conjunction with one another.
They work very well. Yeah.
How did you find all these people and the company to build the bike and the machines and the graphic artists?
Again, they came up together for us in a different way. The graphic designer, we met her
because she was interviewing me. I was interviewing her to see if I would take her on as a client, because I'm an attorney. I do tax resolution work. So this whole coffee thing is a hoot for me, because it's fun. I love coffee. I love talking to people about coffee. I love selling coffee. And it takes me away from the regular life of an attorney, which, is not the most exciting thing unless you're litigating billion-dollar cases, right? And then I found out what she does for a living. And I looked at Simon and I said, hey, let's go take her out happy hour and see what she can do. Loved her work immediately. Okay, let's go.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Simultaneous to that, he'd been looking on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And he found a cart. So he reached out to the manufacturer. Turns out they're in China, of course, but they had an exclusive distributor in America. So we had to contact them, go to the warehouse, look at the bikes. We went several times before we ordered any. And that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Where was their distribution warehouse? In California?
It is, thankfully.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so that worked. So it sounds like you were keeping your eyes open, but it's not like you did an aggressive search. It was much more you were keeping your eyes open to find the matching pieces.
Yeah, and doing an extensive search, there aren't many companies that have these bikes. Another vendor we did talk to is out of New York. There aren't many companies that do this.
There are a lot of companies that do this.
Well, this kind of bike and this big and that,
Yeah. We decide to go to stay in California so we can talk in person about all the modification, because that's important. That's important. Was my very, very hard job for me. So combine everything, work together with them. They are a great team.
And they'd never done this before either.
They thought I give up.
They thought we would give up.
Yeah. They say, you seriously, you have the license? Never happened. Hey, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So they thought we would give up too.
Yeah.
Everyone thought we would give up.
Wow, I love the grit that you just kept on moving despite obstacle after obstacle and bureaucratic obstacle. I guess tax resolution lawyer. I guess you're always dealing with bureaucracy. So
exactly, helping people get out of tax debt. You're dealing with bureaucracy all day. And I think that's where I definitely learned tenacity. And it is an emotional roller coaster starting any business. And so I just have to remember, this is all bureaucracy. Seen this, done this before.
Wow.
A lot of sleepless nights. Yeah. So we drink our coffee.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Now, what are you comfortable in terms of sharing your current, the way you funded your business until now?
We have investors. We're a startup. So essentially we have different tiers of investors. Each time there's a certain buy-in cost, we close that LLC. For each investor, we add a cart. So right now we have 16 additional carts in production. Our goal is to build the brand here in California and then go to the East Coast and expand that way, and then come to the middle of the country eventually. Our ultimate goal, once proof of concept is established, is to franchise. And so that's, in a nutshell.
Currently, so when did you get your first, if I'm asked, when did you get your first investor?
Last September.
Yeah.
A young 24-year-old man in Italy, Simon, that worked with my Simon in his pub, because he owns a pub on the Italian Riviera. And so this young man loved the business plan, loved everything. And because he knows Simon personally and knows him as a person, as a business owner, and how ethical he is and fair, and good. He is good. I'll say that. Not just because he's my husband, but he's a real data guy. And that takes a data guy to really follow the market, monitor it, make tweaks where you need to. And so because of his personal knowledge of Simon, he went out, got a loan, and he became our first investor. Then another man who actually owns a coffee stand on the beach, he invested because he knows coffee is a good business. Yeah. So half our investors are Italian and the other half are in America.
Yeah. Really, I want to say that the responsibility to have investors give me the strength to move forward and don't give up. I have to say thank you to, first of all, to Simone Bosco, because for real, he's a very great guy. He understood everything. Now he's the manager of my business in Italy, and
to free up his time to be in
Yeah.
America to continue with Serratti.
But the responsibility of the other investor on my shoulder give me the strength to don't give up. 100%. That's true.
And these people invested because they understand passive income. A lot of people don't, unfortunately. And so we created a business model that's attractive to people who are looking for adding a different iron in the fire in terms of generating income for themselves, where they're not actually having to produce the wealth themselves, right? That's passive income. So that's the business model. We don't want the investors working at all. We are doing everything for you. That's the whole journey. That's the whole reason to invest.
So I want to talk a little bit more about the funding. It looks like we did get more comments in. The comments are going really well. As we mentioned throughout the episode, Simon and Montserratt. No.
Yeah.
You good?
Oh, okay. Simon and Montserrat are offering to give a bag of Serrati coffee, which we've learned how good it is, to 10 of our commenters. Albert Diaz, best choice for sleepless nights coffee for sure. And Olga Placentia, coffee is excellent, very rich in flavor. The best, it's a must try. Thank you for the comments. Now I want to go back to, I want
to comment on the comment.
Sure.
The coffee in the middle of the night is only good if you decide, forget it. I'm not sleeping. Let me work. Let me do something else.
Okay. I get that, because you're not going back to sleep after.
No way.
I do want to know, before you had investors, and whatever you're comfortable sharing, please share whatever, obviously you don't have to share what you're not comfortable. Before you had the first investor in September, it sounds like you both have full-time jobs. You're both busy with that. How did you were completely self-funded at that point?
Yes.
Got
Absolutely.
You. Now, why did you wait to get funded before you built your first card, or you built your first card and then got funded?
We bought the bikes before we were funded.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to go the route of getting funded as opposed to trying to become organically profitable?
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
You had the bike, so technically you could have either pedaled on the bike yourself.
Oh, I understand.
Or hired someone.
They didn't exist.
Yeah.
They were on a ship for 8 months waiting to be unloaded. If you remember in El Segundo, there were like 200 ships waiting in San Pedro port. We just didn't have them. And then because of the backlog of vendors and suppliers, I mean, we had to wait. We literally just got the carts April of this year.
First or second of April.
Yeah, the 1st or 2nd of April. That's why.
The first one.
So
self-generating would have been great, but we didn't have that option. But this is the business we were doing, so we did it this way.
And
so it sounds like, oh, sorry.
No, it changed the model in this way. So it happened that changed the model. So
it sounds like you did have intention, or you did have the option of starting organically and slowly before you were thinking about starting organically and slowly, starting with one cart, let it generate income. However, because everything was essentially stuck at the port, so you didn't want to be backlogged. You wanted to be able to order more carts, and in order to do that, you needed investors.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great opportunity. Why not? Like I said in the beginning, there's plenty of crumbs in the coffee market and still do very well. The way our business model is set up, it's a very attractive earning potential. And we're not greedy. We know we're going to do well, but there's nothing wrong in helping others do well. There's nothing wrong with that. We all come up together.
Got you. So, and you currently have four. You currently have four. With every investor, you're bringing on another cart,
Right. So
but
we have
the investor invests in the entire business. Is that correct?
they depending on the price point you invested in, you share in the cumulative profit of how many carts are in that LLC. So right now we have 8. So we're waiting, so we can take on more investors to fill the 20 carts in total we will have by the end of the year. Yeah.
Got you. Wow. And how, did you say you have 16 investors at this point?
We have 8.
8.
I apologize. You have 8 investors.
That's okay.
Wow.
But the goal is to have 16.
Yeah, the goal is
Wow. And it sounds like each investor was through an organic experience. Was there a reason you didn't go through the traditional VC route?
With venture capitalism, didn't think about it, quite honestly. And also, from my lack of understanding, this is just my assumption, for venture capitalism, you need a huge project. This is not, it is going to grow and be huge, but right now it's not. And so we decided to go this route. I think when we're in a better position, when we again continue to show that this works, it'll be more attractive to larger investors to be able to take it to the next level.
What are you comfortable sharing in terms of the in terms of the numbers for the? Are you starting to see an ROI per cart yet?
Very slowly. Well, yeah, we're gathering data right now. It's only been a few months, but we're on target.
You're better than the target.
Yeah, we're on target to make the money we projected in our business plan.
Okay.
Yeah. Our goal is just to sell 500 coffees a day. Oh no, 100 coffees a day. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very low.
It's very low. With one of the coffee, the carts start generating money.
Yeah.
So, and one of the coffees, it's like 0.
Yeah.
One more time.
So, because the break even for us is 60 coffee, and the goal is 100 coffee. To selling 100 coffee, the cart itself start generating money for itself, and so we never go home selling less than 200 coffee. So
wow! So you're well ahead of your projections, and in order for your projections, you only need to sell 60 to break even, and then 100 for your conservative projections.
Exactly.
So how long does it take? Oh wow! So the investors are getting a good deal, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they are. They still have.
No, they're getting a steal.
Wow. Do you have a rev share program, or just or not yet?
I don't know what a rev share is. Sorry.
Revenue share. How do the investors
that's
get
the point
paid
of
back?
LLC.
Yeah.
We they get 49% of the net profit, and we 51%. The only reason it's 51 is to maintain the control to franchise in the future.
Yeah.
Whoever invests with us will have the right of first refusal to move forward and become a franchisee. If they decide not to become a franchisee, if they say, you know what, we made our money, we've done well, we want to go into something else, we will give them back their original investment buy-in. Yeah. So we can have the cart and it can become a corporate cart.
I understand that, but what I'm asking you is, do you have a plan for profit sharing, or they only make money once they sell?
No, it's profit sharing. Every quarter they're going to get their profit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking.
Quarterly.
Yeah. No, that's fine, because a lot of the money goes back into the business. When you buy stocks or anything, or even VCs, sometimes they're waiting for an exit. So it sounds like you want it to be a cash flow business for them.
Absolutely. There's no other reason.
Do you have projections of how long it takes to recoup the original money, or do you not have that yet?
2 years. Yeah, 18 months.
That's
18 months.
Mm-hmm.
18 months.
Oh wow. What investments are you starting? What amounts are you willing to start at for an investor?
So it depends. At this moment, we are not anymore on the paper, so we are a reality. So we start with 35,000. So
35,000 to become a
35,000,
member in
yeah,
the
to become a
partnership.
member, yeah.
To become a member in the partnership, I join the LLC, and then I get a rev share.
Yeah.
Every
Wow.
quarter,
Every
you get your
Yeah.
share.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds good, but I'm actually curious how you dealt. I know you come from the law background, but that sounds like a tremendous amount of paperwork.
Yeah.
You know, we actually, a friend of mine, I didn't know this. I was in Italy, of course, time difference, and I didn't even think about it. I messaged him and I said, hey, do you do this kind of work? Business formation, planning, execution, international, because we are international. Yeah. And he responded right away. I guess he drinks coffee in the middle of the night too. Yeah. And he said, yes, I do. And so we met with him, and one of the partners, turns out they actually helped establish coffee bean and tea leaf. So they were very well versed in this area. They helped us develop the business structure. They drafted everything. They did all the legal footwork. I did not touch anything because, as you know, if you have yourself as a client, you're a fool. I wasn't going to touch it.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This has been so insightful. We did get a few more comments, as I mentioned a number of times throughout this live episode, that Simon and Montserratt from Serrati have agreed to give 10 commenters a package of their coffee beans, which we heard so much about in the beginning of the episode. I'm just going to read some comments. Albert, well, I'm Colombian, and we drink coffee regardless of the time of day. Aaron again, I have to get going, but I'm excited for Serrati and the tenacity to not give up. Best of luck on this exciting venture.
Thank you.
And Brian would love to try some of this coffee. So looks like we got a bunch of comments. We really heard your story. We really got to really get to know a lot of the pieces of your story from meeting each other through getting across borders through COVID, during COVID, to strolling on the Santa Monica boardwalk. Santa Monica was on the Santa Monica boardwalk, Santa Monica area, and looking for coffee, realizing that you actually want to serve that need, but not through a cafe, not with the expense of a cafe, and being eco-friendly. So you essentially created the coffee cart. You were actually ready to go to market. The port stopped, so you decided to, or it actually sounds like naturally investors came to you. That sounds to be like a natural progression. You started bringing on investors to build the business before you even had the carts, just because that's what you were able to do. Through a tremendous amount of health inspectors, which sounds like they were surprised you didn't give up. And now you are on the market, and now that you have a real business with real cash flow, you're actually open to investors, so you can work hard for them and work hard for their money so they can see the cash flow. You had great projections. Now I'm not this is not legal advice. So all the disclaimers in the world, but you did have great projections. And
we can share the business plan with anyone who's interested to look at it. Yes. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to wrap up. You shared a lot. It's already over an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Oh wow!
You were right. Time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're on the show. That's what I tell all the interviewees. So
we need to choose 6 more people.
Yeah. Oh yes, we do need to choose 6 more people. You want to do it now or after the live? That's up to you.
We can do it now if you have a minute.
Do it now.
Okay.
I'm not in any rush.
Guy, that Brian
Guardado. Also, this guy, Kurt
Klein.
I think we chose him
There was
before already.
Berman. Okay, who have we not?
Oh, so I don't know.
Maybe it's better later.
Did our Colombian friend get anything yet, or no?
I
So he's
don't
the same
think
one.
so.
He's the same one. Okay. How about the?
I don't think Albert got on the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, him, and then there were some people in the beginning. Oh, Olga. Send Olga a bag. And then let's scroll up. Oh, you can see it's green.
We say already.
Who else did we?
We can figure. Yes, it's difficult now.
Yeah, we
Without
should
the-
probably finish at the
without-
end because I don't remember.
Without the list, it's
Did
difficult.
Jennifer
Yeah.
get some?
Yeah, so basically I guess we'll have to do it at the end. I apologize that we weren't able to say everybody on the live. The reason is because we only found out before the show that they would be so gracious to give us 10 bags. So we'll definitely all the people we chose before will definitely be reaching out to send a bag of coffee. You could also reach out to us. And we'll definitely choose the rest. So that will be a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I will ask Simon and Montserrat another question. But I just want to thank the audience who stayed with us so far. I want to thank Simon and Montserrat for really sharing their story. I want to thank the audience. This is episode 17 of the Brand Spotlight, where we interview consumer brands, really focus on consumer brands, all about what they're uniquely bringing to market, their origin story, and their current go-to-market strategy, and how it evolved to how they are going to market today. Thank you so much. This is streamed live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook as usual, and we're restreamed as an audio. We're repurposed, replayed, or released as an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Just before you go, do you have, Simon and Montserrat, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any parting words, and where can we find you?
Where we can find us? Everywhere. In downtown?
Well, yeah, because we ride around downtown during the week. And then Silver Lake Flea Market on the weekends, and then also Venice Beach.
Well, if we want your coffee, if we want to order some of your coffee bags, we have a national audience. So if we want some of your coffee bags, we'll go to your website, and the info should be there. We could always email you. Hopefully the ordering will be soon. Yeah. And it sounds like it's possibly a good investment opportunity. So anybody who's interested on that end too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
A great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.